Hey guys, so today I want to talk a little bit about energy management. So I mentioned this in my stories last week. I mentioned a book called The Power of Full Engagement by Tony Schwartz. And the book is all about not only time management, but energy management. So I'm in month number 2 of my Best of You coaching group for the year. And I've had a lot of women say that they're having a hard time doing all their online business stuff on top of all their other priorities. So a lot of times we come in, maybe we have a full-time job, we're doing a full-time gig, we have family we're trying to take care of, we have other priorities, we have social stuff, we have things that we just want to do, television, all that kind of stuff. And then we're trying to put 10 or 15 more hours of online business on top of that. So when it comes to time management, it really isn't so much about time as much as it's about energy. And so the thing I want to talk about today is something that I call anchor actions. So anchor actions are couple things. I do 3 things, a couple things that you will do daily or weekly that will be things that leverage. So these activities leverage your energy. So when you do them, you actually feel more energized, you feel more recovered, you feel more restored, you feel more recharged after you do them. So for example, I don't know about you, but watching like a television marathon feels good in the moment, but I don't always feel super charged up and super creative after that. So for me, that's probably not going to be an anchor action. For most of us, probably exercise is one of them. For me, definitely weight training, at least 30 minutes a day. Weight training leverages my energy so that by the time I'm done, I'm ready to go back and work and stay focused on what I'm doing. So 3 anchor actions per day. And people ask me all the time, like, how do you get so much done? How do you not burn out? Adrenal fatigue, metabolic damage, all that kind of stuff. Look, we do intense workouts, so that is a great question. For me, it comes down to I take a ton of recovery. So I sleep a minimum of 8 hours a night, and often I'll sleep like 9 or 10 hours a night. So if I'm not traveling, I'm definitely sleeping like 9 to 10 hours a night, which I know is a lot, and that's not always going to be feasible for other people, but try to get, at least if that's one of your anchor actions, I know for me, sleep is huge. That's the reason that I don't go into adrenal fatigue, metabolic damage, all that kind of stuff, because we're doing really intense workouts, we have stress, we have, maybe we're traveling. So you want to think about this in terms of 2 types of things. We have inputs and we have outputs. So our outputs are things that are going to steal from us. These are things like travel and drinking alcohol and emotional stress and staying up really late and coffee and I don't know, like super intense workouts, or, you know, not eating for a long period of time, or going on a super low carb diet. These are like outputs. These are things that like cause us stress. So even though exercise is healthy, it is still a stress on the body, especially if you're doing super high intensity workouts, sprinting, jumping, heavy weight training and stuff like that. That's fast moving, things like Metcon Monster. These are going to be stressors on the body. So you have to make sure that your these outputs, you're evening and equalizing them out with inputs. So inputs are things that are going to restore your energy. Things like leisure walking, slow leisure walking, not fast running, or moderate intensity exercise, sleep, meditation, quick naps, journaling, spending time with your friends and family, right? These things give you energy back. Making sure that you're eating enough, making sure that you're eating enough of the right things, micronutrients, those kind of things. So you want to, so my key is this. We have outputs, which are things that are going to be more stress on us, and that's just part of life, right? Like we travel, we drink alcohol, we drink coffee, we sometimes don't get enough sleep, we have emotional stress in our lives. We're always going to have those things, but it's key to balance those out with inputs. Inputs are not necessarily going to be getting on Instagram and scrolling. They're not going to necessarily be online shopping or online, I don't know, gambling or doing video games or whatever that is. Those things tend to, especially television, tend to steal our energy. So figure out what your anchor actions are going to be. So I have 3 anchor actions. I mentioned 2 of them already. The first is sleeping a minimum of 8 hours a night. I know that's tough. I skimp in other ways, but I do not skimp on sleep. Second thing, I exercise 30 minutes a day. So for me, weight training focused, exercising 30 minutes a day. And then the third thing is that I leisure walk at least 30 minutes a day. So I've mentioned my leisure walk. You guys know my story. I'm constantly walking. And when I say walk, I'm like slow walking, like 2.0 on the treadmill, but I'm out and about. I'm outside if I can be. If you're in a place that's cold and you just can't be outside, you can do this on the treadmill. Relaxing, you should be able to talk to someone or put up an Instagram post as you are doing that. I walk my dog. Those are the 3 things. Everything else, I don't worry about it. So yes, I travel. Yes, I do intense workouts. Yes, I drink wine. Yes, I drink coffee. Yes, I have emotional stress like everyone. And so I think it's really key that you have to balance those 2 things out. If you're not balancing out your outputs with those inputs that are making you feel energized or making you feel restored and recovered, then you probably need to pull back a little bit on the outputs. Maybe travel a little bit less, maybe drink a little bit less alcohol, maybe cut back on your caffeine consumption if that works for you, right? So it's hard because you have to know what to give up. And then also it's okay to go hard so long as you're also going nice and easy at times. So balancing those inputs and those outputs, to me, I call them anchor actions. I do 3 every day, so I don't worry about things like, how much coffee I drink. Like, I'm not really worried about that. I don't worry about how much water I'm getting. Some people, that might be important for them. Maybe they're like, I know when I'm drinking enough water, that helps me control calories, and that makes me feel restored or energized or whatever. So it's completely up to you. It's completely unique. So for me, 3 things per day that you do, that when you do them, you can come back to your work super focused, laser focused. And so a lot of this isn't about having enough time. I know a lot of people have different priorities, and so for me, I don't have kids. I've outsourced a lot. I've been able to leverage some of the things in my business to give those over. You guys know I don't cook, I don't clean, and I don't really run errands. So honestly, like, a lot of things just don't get done. So when you're like looking at someone else and being like, wow, they're so productive, whatever, take into consideration their lifestyle too. So I know if you guys have a full-time job and you're doing, and I did that for many, many years, so I get it, do your best. But make sure you're taking that recovery time. So think about, what are 3 things that I can do that are enjoyable, that when I do them, it gives me energy back. And when you get that energy back, that's gonna be key for being able to sit down, and I guarantee you're gonna be a lot more productive in a lot less time. So definitely pick up the book, The Powerful Engagement. Totally changed my life. Up until then, I was wearing busyness as a badge of honor. I was someone who enjoyed being busy. I wanted to be the most busy of anyone I knew. That made me feel important, and it gave me a sense of self-worth. So if you find yourself always being like, I don't have time, I don't have time, you really have to audit your time. You have to really audit your schedule and decide, like, what needs to go. It's the law of trade-offs, right? If you want to build an online business, you might not be able to watch 3 hours of television every night. I always kind of get up on my soapbox about TV. Yes, it's fine for a little bit of escapism now and then. Totally cool. You want to read novels. I love reading novels too. For me, think about things that are going to give you energy back, and that's going to be different for everyone. So audit your time. It's not about time, it's about energy management. This book was the first time I felt permission to do nothing at times, to go on a leisure walk or take a 20-minute nap in the afternoon. Up until then, I had not felt permission to do that. So that's why I love this book, because you oscillate between periods of downtime and periods where you're working and highly focused. So I get a shit ton of work done, but in a really shorter amount of time because I'm highly focused. I turn off social media, I put my phone on airplane mode, and I go for an hour and a half, and you guys can't imagine the kind of focused work you can get done, the amount of work you can get done in an hour and a half if you're just focused on that and not multitasking. The book is called The Power of Full Engagement. The Power of Full Engagement by Tony Schwartz and Jim Lair. The Power of Full Engagement is kind of an older book. I think I read it in 2007 for the first time. And honestly, you will have aha moments after aha moments, especially for someone who is so busy all the time. That was totally me. In fact, I just felt as though busy made me feel important. And I think it's okay to say that. But now my goal is, when someone asks me if I'm busy, I'm like, nope, not busy. That's my goal. I want to be the least busy person that I know, because I want to be productive, which is not the same as busy. So 3 anchor actions: read the book. I guarantee you, and audit your time. Where are you spending time? Where can you outsource stuff? Where can you leverage time? What shit just literally doesn't have to get done? I know sometimes we spend a lot of time running around and doing errands and stuff. Can you get your groceries delivered? Can you, where you're at, can you hire a high school kid to run around and go to CVS and do that kind of stuff for you? I mean, I know it's, you have to put out a little bit money, but think about it from the perspective okay, if I can pay someone who's in high school $10 an hour to run out, do errands, do my grocery shopping, maybe that takes them 2 hours total. That's $20 of your time. You're getting 2 hours back, that in that 2 hours you could create something for the internet. You could create your create a lead magnet. You could write a blog. You could do a Facebook Live. You could do an Instagram Live. You could create a product or a service, right? You could put together a program that potentially people would purchase. So think about how you can leverage your time better. And that was a major shift for me when I went from kind of a time for money grind at the gym, fitness hustle, to doing online business full time. Was I started choosing time over money. And at one time I actually had to take a tiny pay cut to do it. I did. I took a pay cut. I asked my my boss if I could take a couple afternoons off, and that I would take a pay cut to do that. And I was happy that I did that, and I made the money back, a couple months later. So think about the ways in which maybe you're not wasting time, but maybe wasting energy. So I talk to a lot of people who have relationships that drain them. So you might need to audit your relationships a little bit. It's okay to not get back to someone within 30 seconds, right? They can survive without you responding to them right away. So, and also it might actually do them a disservice if you're constantly right there responding to their email right that second. You're kind of becoming a crutch for them, right? You're kind of doing them a disservice. You're enabling them, so they're kind of forced to never figure out stuff on their own. And so think about let them have a crisis and you not be available for it, and they have to struggle through it, and then you can debrief after, and everyone survived, and it's totally cool. So it's okay to not be available at times too, and that takes some practice. So this is not in the book. This kind of stuff is not in the book. But what I'll do for you guys is in my story, after I get off, in my story, I'll put some resources for you. Make sure to check out the book, Anchor Actions. That's Jill Fit original. 3 things that when you do them daily, your energy leverages. So for me, it's leisure walking, 8 hours of sleep, and 30 minutes of weight training. That's it. I don't stress about anything else. I really don't. I don't stress about having a couple glasses of wine. I don't stress about, how much coffee I'm drinking or how long I'm going between meals. I don't worry about any of that. I only worry about getting those 3 things in, because I know when I do them consistently, I feel energized and recharged and recuperated. So that's it. Hopefully that helps you guys. Let me know if you have questions. You can, of course, send me a DM. I'll do my best to get back to you, but make sure you check out that book, and I hope this was helpful for you. Talk to you soon. Bye.